Everybody else played. We both played first chair, but I played the solo chair, which meant that we both played the same note unless there was a solo part, and then I played it and he kept quiet. And we were playing along, and I got to flirting with some girls out here, and I don't know where my mind was, and I hit a couple notes that I'd never heard before. They weren't even on the horn. Oh, they were terrible. I took my horn down, gave him a dirty look, and started playing again. He got so mad he got up and walked off.
Everybody's laughing.
Even the director thought it was him.
They didn't expect you to do that.
No, I never missed a note.
Just little life nuggets, golden little nuggets in case you're ever needing it.
On the spot. I don't know where it is.
Going up in the northeast and state, and we had 2 stops before we got to where we were going. And I'm sitting in the back and the stewardess is sitting beside me. We come into the first stop, and we go, oh, oh, oh. And she says, even though we landed 3 times, we're still in such and such a city. The pilot came back and he said, I heard that. He said, I wasn't flying, the co-pilot was flying. Next time I'll show you how to land. And she said, well, it wasn't supposed to be on in the cockpit. He said, well, you were. So we get to the next one and it was bump, bump, bump again. So when I got off, I stuck my head in those days you could. Yeah. I stuck my head in the cockpit and I said, you know, it's awful rough on the passengers when you've got 2 Virgin pilots in the front. Well, then don't you know, on the way back, couple, 3 days later, I had the same crew. And the gal goes up and tells the pilot, we were gonna land in Detroit, and this was the day before Thanksgiving. Now you can imagine, all the kids were going home for Thanksgiving, and I was bumped in Detroit to get off and go on standby to get to Chicago. Well, you know, the chances of getting to Chicago before Thanksgiving are nil. And the stewardess, I sat down by the same seat, and she came back. Right? She went up and told the pilot. He came back and he said, "I'm the captain of this ship. I'm the boss. Don't you get off in Detroit." He said, "I like a good guy like you." He said, "They can't make you get off." And I got all the way to Chicago. I didn't have to get off.
And then I drive home, bump, 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 bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't forget the
What it used to be like, and I can't remember the
Misery.
name of it. 'Cause I
Think
know
about it.
When
Misery.
I first worked
Oh,
on a ranch, we had the punch header, you know. We did the bagging on the platform, you know,
Yeah.
and pulled it by a tractor. And now they don't even. It's all air conditioned.
Yeah.
They don't even come home for lunch.
Well, what about
We
these
get a
people
first-
that
Not
are,
all of them, right?
We get a freshman that suck out on the farm.
Actually.
Oh, it is? Okay,
Oh,
good.
you die.
Yeah.
What?
What?
You take your lunch with you, right?
Yeah, but he was talking about the air conditioning.
Oh yeah, you would. It's hot.
Halfway through the day, well, like the combine is made with the engine.
Right under you.
No, it's
Oh.
over on the side, and the fan is positioned so it blows air past the engine, right? Well,
Yeah.
that puts it right underneath your cab,
Ooh.
and they're not airtight. So you know, if you didn't have
Yeah.
the air conditioning, you'd have all the windows that are, you know, the sun, and you have this hot air blowing in.
Yeah.
You'd be
You cook.
Toast.
cooked.
Because
Yeah.
we'd come in off the combine.
Especially
at night,
this September
You couldn't
was
even
hot.
see our faces. All you could see was our lips and our
well,
mouth.
what about people that are asthmatic?
Well, you don't do that, John.
Remember Leisky?
No.
Remember
Yeah, but
Leisky?
you just don't do
He
that.
was sent, Leroy was sent to his uncle because they lived on a farm in Canada
Yeah, but he
and
couldn't-
he
he was
couldn't handle
allergic,
it.
Oh, when they get a freshman, they assign him to the farm. We used to take him over to where the calves were, and get him to put his head in the stanchion,
Oh,
and
no.
then put some cream on his face.
Oh my. Oh.
And get the calf to lay in his
And they got
face.
such a rough tongue. Oh my.
He didn't need a razor.
No. At that age, you wouldn't anyway.
Honey, that's terrible.
It was fun.
It's almost as good
As
as,
long as there was somebody else.
it's almost like snipe hunting, right?
Right. We used to do that with our pathfinders. We had one little kid. He bit so big. It was hilarious. And I don't think he ever did get over it.
Well, we had a guy, we thought he was new, and on the first Saturday night, we always had a handshake, so everybody got to meet everybody. And oh boy, he was really gonna strut his stuff for the girls. Well, Myron Stone happened to come up with his wife, her sister, younger sister was in school, and we talked him into taking us snipe hunting. And we took Jack Cole snipe hunting. And don't you know, we got way out there, and there was a rabbit ran, and oh, there goes one. And boy, he'll hold a sack. We laid a couple of logs down, and he put him there, you know. And we went back. Anybody happens to see Jack Cole, just let him know the snipe hunt's over. And after the snipe hunt was over, and everybody was supposed to be in bed, Dean comes knocking on her door. "Were you one of the guys that went with?" "Yeah, yeah." "Well, you come with me." And there were three of us that the Dean got. "Let's go get Jack." So we go out to where we left him. He wasn't there. Now we're in real trouble. Up and down all the country roads late at night with flashlights. Tommy and I were in the rumble seat, and it was getting colder by the minute.
Rumble
Mine
seat.
had gone
That's
back
the
and
key
got it.
phrase, rumble seat.
Right.
Mine had gone back and got it. Jack was in bed.
And you guys were paying a bigger price.
Yeah.
So you got him on this.
Last
That's
laugh.
in the rumble.
Last laugh is on Jack.
Well, this little kid had come back in because all the other kids were putting grass in their sacks, you know, and bringing it back. And he couldn't figure out why he couldn't catch one. So we told him he needed to fit the flashlight and keep his fingers going this way. So we could see exactly where he was at, you know. And he was out there for the longest time because we were playing games then. And actually my boss was working with us at that time at the press. We were the Pathfinders. And she was playing a game called Follow the Leader. And what you would do then after you got the kids to do it, you stick a wet sponge under them. And oh man, we had some kids mad. But anyway,
You did what?
put a wet sponge under them.
Well, under what?
They were playing Follow the Leader, so everything
she's
she
sitting on
did,
a bucket.
and so every time they'd get up off the bucket, then we'd stick a sponge under them. So then we'd
Wet
try another
sponge.
kid, you know. So this kid comes back in and saw what's going on, and he stick one under Shirley. I mean, it cracked us all up.
Okay. Sherry used to be a commodities broker. And she worked for a guy named Russ Bergevin, which was an old family here, one of the first settlers out here at Tushy. They still have land out there. And
All over the place.
All over the
he was
place.
a cattleman. He ran a lot of cattle, and he used to sell bulls. He'd go around and sell bulls, you know, to get fresh blood. Anyway,
Or-
she went to work for Russ Bergevin, and he had another commodities broker that was going to go work for her husband, and he did the. They had a business over here in Walla Walla where they would rechrome the. What do they call that part of the combine? The concaves. Over here, that was what her husband ran. So she was going to leave Stotler, the commodities, and work there. So it was one of her last days. And so Russ went to Sherry and said, I'm going to act like I'm leaving and I'm going to walk out the front door. But before I do, I'm going to go to, what was her name?
Anne Marie.
Anne Marie. And I'm going to ask her to go down in the basement and look up some old files for me. But I want you to stall her for a few minutes because they were downtown, Main Street. I'm going to go around the block and I'm going to come in the back entrance and I'm going to go downstairs. And I'm going to scare her when she comes down the stairs looking for those files as a way of, you know, playing a joke on her just before she leaves. So Sherry agrees to it. So he tells Anne Marie, now, I want you to go down and pull these files down in the basement, and I'll be back later on this afternoon to look at them. And so he walks out the front door. Well, Sherry says, look, Russ is going around the building, and he's going to go downstairs to scare you. Here's a cup of water. And he jumps out, throw water in his face. Can you believe your mother would think of something like that? So Russ is down there waiting to spook her, and he goes, ah! And Anne Marie, she's a tiny little thing, gives him a face full of water. It's like the sponge thing.
I did Robert Bergerman's Potatoes Friday.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Clear over in Mount Jefferson.
Oh, are they leasing some land out?